Come on in. It's so good to see you. So it is Tuesday. How are you guys doing? Little hair right there. Oh my goodness. That's what I get for whatever, getting ready later than normal. How are you doing today? It's so good to see you. I don't know if you know this or not. You may not, because one of the beauties of social media is that you get people who are complete strangers to you all the time watching your content. And so every day, Monday through Friday, unless it's a holiday or I'm out of town, we go live right here, you guys. And so if you need consistent, good information on insulin resistance, this is where you should put your notification. This is what you should be sharing out. We've been doing this now since, let's see. So March, April, May, June, July. So it's been 17 months that we've been going live here. And it's been over 2 years now since we've had the Facebook group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, where we do a challenge every single month. Next one is next Monday, the 7th of July. So after all of your picnicking and partying and camping and having fun and barbecuing, jump into the challenge in the group so that you can actually get back on track again. I don't mean that you're going to get off track. I'm just saying, like, you may or may not want to be encouraged. I don't know. Good morning, Magda. Good to see you. Very good to see you. So today what I wanted to talk about was, I titled this Bloated, Moody, Gaining Weight. Is that you? Listen. It's not your deal. It's not your issue. It's literally your insulin talking back. And I'm going to explain exactly how this happens. And then I'm going to tell you exactly how you can turn it around. So my name is Kirsten Liebelt, by the way. I was born and raised by an Italian dad who was type 2 insulin dependent. And it was literally my life. He was diagnosed when I was born, like right around that same age. And so it's all that I knew. And with my Italian family came lots of obesity and lots of type 2 diabetes. I just assumed that it was genetic because that's what they told you. And I had no idea that I had any control over this at all. So anyway, kind of lived my life a little recklessly after I was a gestational diabetic with my first baby. I may or may not have paid any attention at all, like I should have. But what happened was, I found out now later in life that when you have high insulin in your body constantly, you can't lose weight. And eventually it all catches up with you. And that's where the meds come in, the medical procedures. My dad did all of it, heart procedures and kidney dialysis and puking, and then dead at 63. So I just turned 60. I actually didn't even start dealing with my insulin resistance until I was almost 50 years old, even though it started in my 20s, even though it probably started earlier than that. But I was diagnosed with gestational diabetes. And so that's when I actually had I been paying any attention at all, which I wasn't, had I actually paid any attention to all of this, that's when I should have done it, is when I was about 22 years old. And that's just the way it is. So my point in telling you that is that it can be years and decades that your insulin is high, and you do not know. And this is your hamster wheel. Welcome to the hamster wheel that nobody tells you about. And it's your weight, it's your mood, it's your bloating, it's your frustration. For some people, it's their fertility. Share this out with somebody who needs to hear some of these pieces today, because I want to go like a little tiny 101 on you, because again, this all comes from you guys create my content for me. And so when I can tell that they're not grasping quite, when people come to me and they tell me, but I'm eating gluten-free, I'm like, okay, we're not understanding how this works. So I want to just come and give you some education. And then for real, like if you need a track to run on, a blueprint, all of those challenges in the group, they're free. They are free 99. And the next one starts next Monday, July the 7th. And the group is called Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And you can always go to my site, which is my first last name.com, and get into the portal there, if that's what you want to do. Okay, so basically, we're going to go from like a sugar spike to a system-wide shutdown. This is what happens. This is where we are. If you're on my content, this is what's going on in your universe. And how does insulin resistance in your body grow? Here we go. So insulin acts, this is a really good scenario, I thought, acts like a doorman, doorman, a guy that opens the door at a nice like apartment building or fancy hotel. That's letting sugar into your cells to be used for energy. So insulin opens the door so that sugar can get into your cell for energy. That's normal. That's amazing. That's good. That's how your body was created to function. And it's supposed to work that way. Okay. Your body wants to run on glucose. It's like, gimme. I need that energy. Okay. High sugar and high carb meals is constantly releasing insulin because insulin is the door. So when you're eating high like carbs and high sugar all the time, things that turn into sugar, like even, like starchy vegetables or whatever, you're constantly raising your sugar. So the doorman is more just like, he's there. He's available to open up that cell. Come on. But what happens is over time, your cells stop listening. And they go, nope, we are full. We're not interested. Please go away. And what happens then is your insulin resistance begins. And it's long before it shows up in your sugars. And ain't nobody telling you because they're not pulling a fasting insulin test. And insulin is a hormone and it's a fat storing hormone. And we live on this hamster wheel. And then we are mean girls to ourselves. God, you're so undisciplined. Oh my God, you have no willpower. You're such a loser. You've never met a food that you didn't love, and you never started a diet that you actually stuck with. And this is what happens in our brains, and we're really mean to ourselves, okay? So the truth, though, is that your cells have stopped listening to insulin. And now you guys, you're up against a wall and you don't even know it. You don't even know that high insulin means fat burning switched, turned off. You don't even know that your liver being sluggish and not working, fat burning mode, turned off. So you're putting all these Band-Aids on everything and thinking that following this program or adding more fiber to your diet or doing whatever, all the Band-Aid. And I want to teach you how to fish. So let's go. Let's do it. So the first stop is your muscles, your muscle cells. Muscles use most of your glucose. That's why we want muscles, girls. You want muscles, okay? You gotta think this way. When they say no, when your muscles all over your body say no to sugar, it stays in your bloodstream. This is why it builds up over time. And this is why you could have known a long time ago, because your insulin was probably high. Okay. So when your muscle cells say no, your sugar stays in your bloodstream. It leads to, this is maybe how you've been feeling. You're fatigued. You have energy crashes. You have cravings for caffeine and sweets because your body's like, we need energy now. And your brain goes, oh, well, fast energy, that's carbs and sugar and caffeine. And you're on the cycle and round you go, right? The next stop, liver. Talked about the liver all day yesterday on this live. Liver. What do I tell you guys? Love your liver. Love your liver. You have to love your liver because it literally does these things. It's supposed to release the sugar only when needed. But when it becomes resistant, it dumps sugar into your bloodstream. Even when you're not eating, it's dumping. It's working because it's a workhorse. Your liver is your workhorse. It's your muscle. It's like, I can do this. Morning fasting glucose creeps up. And then you guys reach out to me and you're like, my dawn phenomenon. I can't get those morning sugars down. I don't know what to do. This is what's going on, right? So your belly fat builds up. So frustrating. Your brain fog starts to like really show up strongly in the mornings. You wake up and you're super brain foggy and not very, clear-minded, etc. Then your fat cells, especially your visceral fat, we talked about that all day yesterday. That was our topic yesterday, visceral fat. You can always go back on the replay and watch that, or you can go to the YouTube channel, which is my name, Kirsten Liebelt. And All the replays are over there because Facebook is deleting them. So that's how that goes. They've dumped all their lives and now they only stay up for 30 days. So that's just a little FYI for you. They are on Insta also. But the fat cells, especially visceral fat, excess sugar is stored as fat. Fat around your organs, it gets inflamed. Fat cells send out inflammatory chemicals that worsen your insulin resistance. So now it's systemic. Now it's systemic. Your entire body is being affected. And I'm going to share what that looks like here in just a second. It's really just kind of like this whole cycle. So first is your muscle, second is your liver, and then third is your fat. Muscle cells say no to the sugar. You want good muscle. Your liver, it's supposed to release sugar only when needed, but now it's dumping sugar into your blood. Do you understand why I tell you build muscle, bring down your insulin and your sugars, love your liver? These are 3 easy steps. Okay? Build muscle can look like even walking a lot. Just get your muscle, get your body moving, get your lymphatic system moving. You know, do it after meals, especially. I do it in the morning though, because it starts my day off well. So move your body. And then I get into the gym a little bit and I pull down, I do resistance on my muscles, right? Like, you know, I'm such a bodybuilder. Not really, but I do want muscle and I want stability. Okay. And I want to burn glucose. But anyway, so muscle, liver. I don't know how much I can talk about the liver. It's a lot. And fat cells, especially the visceral fat. The visceral fat is being stored because of your high insulin, high sugars, and that is around your organs, wrapping around your organs, giving you fatty liver, and it is dangerous fat. Dangerous fat. The reason why it's dangerous is because it's emitting inflammation, chemicals, hormones. It's literally your hot mess express. And you can actually, if you know somebody that's like in their early 40s, share this one out. This would be very helpful for them because this is where you can really change the way that you go through perimenopause and menopause because insulin is a hormone and all of this is connected. Okay. So now it's systemic and your entire body is affected. So your brain, your ovaries, your skin, your heart, your kidneys. Okay, let's go through those. Your brain, mood swings and carb cravings. Does anybody have mood swings and carb cravings? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know. Mood swings and carb cravings. Number 2, your ovaries, your testes, PCOS or low libido. People ask me probably about once a week. I get asked, is insulin resistance connected to PCOS? Yes. Yes. And low libido for men, probably for women too, but you understand. Number 3, skin tags and dark neck patches. Okay. Number 4, heart and vessels, your high blood pressure. So I bet that you don't hear about that a lot. When you have high blood pressure and all they want to do is give you meds. Do they ask you how much sugar soda you're drinking? Do they ask you how your diet is? Maybe they do. But the diet that they recommend is total trash. So you have to be your own advocate. That's why you're here, right? Your kidneys, you're peeing at night, you've got sugar in your urine. This is why my dad's progression was just what I said to you. So he's diagnosed at like about 35, type 2 diabetes, and he ends up on insulin injections. Then he ends up with the high blood pressure, which then he ends up with the heart issues, which then he ends up with the quadruple bypass surgery and the pacemaker. And then his kidneys, that's like, for him, it was towards the end. Then his kidneys just went kaput. And then he was on dialysis 3 times a week, and he would go and he would have dialysis, and then he'd puke, and then the next day he'd feel fine. And then he'd have dialysis, and then he'd puke, and then the next day he'd be fine. And this was his cycle for about 2 years before he died at 63. What is the trunk of the tree? What was the trunk of the tree? What was the basis for everything we just talked about? Insulin resistance. Like, we have to finally wake up and go, okay, oh, you're telling me that if I actually deal with my insulin resistance, which is completely reversible and within my control, that I could like get rid of maybe a lot of those other symptoms. And remember, I'm not a doctor, I'm just a friend. I could get rid of those and maybe even get off meds with my doctor. I'm in. That's what you should be saying. Do you have any idea how many meds? I should count up. I don't even know now. How many meds people have gotten off of that I've talked to as they do this process, because the trunk of the tree got addressed. Finally, we were paying attention. Okay, so everything you eat, everything you supplement with, everything goes through the lens of insulin resistance. And I'm telling you, you take back your life, you feel so good. I should not be the only person in my family that's not type 2. I should not be. I was the one that was gestational diabetic. I was the one that had frozen shoulder at 50, another sign of insulin resistance. I was the one. I should be type 2 now. But right as I edged up towards 50, I was a 2X. I'm checking my body to see if my sores are healing properly. I'm paying attention to if I'm peeing too much or if I'm drinking too much. I'm doing it all. Okay? I'm doing it all. And I'm like, I should probably deal with this once and for all. Because otherwise, I will end up like my dad with all of these medications that just have all of these side effects. And I was like, no, I won't do that. And I began to make changes. And they were small, you guys. Like, I was super pensive about everything. I had never supplemented a day in my life. I didn't eat anything that was wisdom, like literally at all. I just kept being the sugar addict that I was. I just kept staying in the realm that I was in all the time. And I did not know how to change it. But the good Lord gave me direction. And so I'm forever grateful for the things that kind of came into my wheelhouse and into my path so that I could learn and then turn around and teach you guys. So when you are insulin resistant, you are tired after your meals. You are craving sugar and carbs when you are stressed. You are gaining fat around your belly. Your fasting glucose is creeping higher and higher. Your brain fog, your bloating, and your stubborn weight will not leave your body. And you're just like, what is going on? But you can turn this around, I promise you, to the best of my knowledge for the average person. Because there's a spectrum, and I get it. I get it, right? There's a spectrum. Just like there's like an autism spectrum, there's an insulin resistance spectrum. Some people are very, very barely insulin resistant, and some people are like, they got a lot going on. My dad had a lot going on because it had gone on for so long. His type 2 had gone on for so long. And I'm sorry, but the information he was being given by the medical community was trash-ola, and it hasn't changed in 40 years. So you have to do your own research on that, right? But these are some of the things that you can do, very, very basic. You can prioritize protein that doesn't spike your blood sugar. What does that mean? Well, meat and eggs do not spike your sugars and call on more insulin. I teach grain, sugar, and legume free because those are the three that do not spike your sugar. If you think you're being smart by getting your protein from grain, you're spiking your sugars. So you're having granola bars and thinking you're doing a really good thing because you're getting a certain amount of protein, but you're spiking your sugars and calling on insulin. It's not wisdom. It's not. So like the way to help your liver with your protein intake is knowing how much protein is in certain foods. It's super simple. It's not hard. And then really like taking your goal weight and getting that many grams of protein in a day. And I know that might sound confusing, but I do have like a guide that you can grab. It's on my site, myfirstlastname.com. It's free. But you can do that so that you can know, actually, it's not that overwhelming. It's not as bad as you think it is. Eliminate sugary drinks and grains. That's a given. Like you have to switch that. Move after meals to use your glucose naturally. So that's what's happening. When you go for a walk after you eat, you're helping your body to use up that glucose. Remember, your muscles want to use glucose. Okay. So even if you went for a 10-minute walk, that would at least help, right? So you have to like think about those. Managing your stress and improving your sleep. You know what? I know that sounds, I feel like that actually sounds more impossible to some of you than the food piece. It's like, well, how am I supposed to get sleep? I haven't slept in years, or my sleep is, way off, or I thought my sleep was just menopause, or I thought my sleep was just, or my stress. I mean, how can I change my stress? Come on. I have a parent with dementia, or I work night shift, or, easy for you to say, I've got all this stress in my life. You have to find tools in your toolbox. So things that I do, for instance, and I actually am not in a super stressful season right now at all. But I was when we were taking care of my brother who had a stroke. Well, he had a heart attack, and then he had a stroke on the table of his quadruple bypass surgery. And then he was in group homes, etc., for 2 years before he passed. And this was happening right at the same time that it was the 5 years of my mom and her dementia. And she was living with my mom and my sister and then myself. So there was this 5-year period that was very stressful. Lots of moving pieces, lots of yikes. Because she passed away 2 years ago. So this was all happening starting in the year of 2020. Did anything else happen in 2020? Can anybody think of anything? So right at the beginning of that whole mess was these pieces. So anyway, point being, a couple years before, and then bam, that hit. And so when for me, I do things like I listen to worship music. I make sure that I'm writing gratitudes down, go for a walk. I usually choose, certain things on personal development. These are a lot of things that I've just learned how to deal with my own stress, and maybe you can too. And maybe a part of it, like for me, was giving myself permission to do all of that, permission to take the extra time for me, permission to like put my phone down and not feel like I have to be everybody's answer, but I can actually just take care of me, because I'm actually a big piece of the answer for my grandbabies and for my adult kids who need me still, right? Of course they do. And when it comes to your sleep, and this is for me, and I know it's not, everybody's different with what you've got going on. And I do tell you guys this, like, if you're a melatonin person, I have a melatonin gummy that's phenomenal. I can't do melatonin because it makes me feel drunk. So I don't do that. I don't like feeling like, I don't like feeling in the middle of the night like I'm stumbling, and I don't like feeling that I'm foggy till noon. Like, this is no bueno for me. Nah, I don't like that, because I have things to do, people, places to go, people to see. Can't be foggy. So for me, I do a magnesium and an ashwagandha, and they are both phenomenal blends. Both of them are amazing. And I take 2 of each of those at night before I go to bed. Okay. And the magnesium actually helps with your liver too, just to let you know. And your liver needs to reset at night. So that's one of the liver pieces that I have. If you've been watching any of my content and I'm talking about liver and you're asking for my Love Your Liver list, that's a piece of that. But I take those at night, and it has transformed my sleep. And I'm 60. I have learned to prioritize my sleep so well. It's my favorite time of the day, not because I had a bad day, not because I can't wait to lay down because I hurt, none of that. Just because I know there's a piece that I'm going to go to sleep and I'm going to stay asleep. Now, it doesn't mean I don't get up and pee in the middle of the night, like probably once every night. That's normal, because I don't monitor. I just keep drinking water. I don't cut myself off. I just keep drinking water. But I go right back to sleep. It's very rare now. It was more frequent a little over a year ago before I really narrowed it down. It was more frequent that maybe I would wake up and I would have, like, every 60 days or so, like a few nights in a row where you wake up at 4 and you're just like, your mind is going and whatever. Doesn't happen to me. Very rare. I would have to probably have something really on my plate that was really kind of bugging me or something, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, point being, managing your stress and improving your sleep. And then you've got to learn how to support your liver. You've got to learn how to support your gut. You've got to learn how to bring down your sugars. That's why the whole like eating protein eating protein to help your liver is a piece of this puzzle. And that's that free guide that I'm talking to you about. Because if you can stop spiking your blood sugars with how you're eating, then everything that you're doing with supplementation changes how you're functioning. So I always talk about, I talk about the 3 pillars. Yesterday, we talked about pillar number 3. We talked about, hey, good to see you. I'm doing really well. Thanks for asking. I'm doing really well. I talked about pillar number 3 yesterday, which was the orange pixie stick that helps with fat burning because it addresses the visceral fat. Liver, around your organs. Remember why we talk about that? Every single thing that I am talking to you about is helping you towards insulin sensitivity, addressing your liver function. It is the epitome of detailing your body like you would detail a car. It is the epitome of that. I started with the trio. These are the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. I started these when I was a 2X on TikTok. My before and after is there. When I was a 2X, I entered my 50s. This is all that I had available to me at the time. And I did this with my food ingredient trade outs and lost 3 sizes after my cycle stopped because insulin is a freaking hormone. This is a hormonal conversation. This is not a calorie in, calorie out conversation, even though calories matter. This is a hormonal conversation, okay? So I started with the trio. And then the second thing that I talked to you guys about is now the gut primer and the probiotic. Why? I gotta put this down. Why? Because your liver needs to function. You cannot, there are 2 things that'll keep you from fat loss: high insulin and a sluggish liver. So I got to go back to this. Sorry. I'm going to go back to this right here. This one that is out of stock. It's like a little bit of natural OZ, if you know what I mean. Helps with sugar cravings, appetite control, bring down your insulin and your sugars. Get it? So 3 times a day. This one is out of stock. It's very popular. I inventory it in my home. So never, ever concern yourself. Always reach out to me. Hey, Kirsten, it's out of stock. Can I buy one from you? Get it shipped? Yes. Because I don't want you to be without that piece. You've got to bring down your insulin and sugars, both. Okay? Nobody else is talking to you about this that I know of, really, in that way. And then when it comes to your liver, you guys, I understand, like, who still has their gallbladder? Anybody? Like, does anybody still have their gallbladder? Do you understand the burden on your liver when you had your gallbladder removed? Or if you've been a person who you take tons of over-the-counter meds, or you take a lot of prescription meds, or maybe you used to be a drinker, or maybe you're just now transitioning away from total trash junk food that's been filled with seed oils, or you were a Mountain Dew addict, or all of that fructose in your, it can only be metabolized by your liver. So your liver's like, seriously, help me. Help me help you. That's what's happening. So liver. This is actually not a greens product. I know that it looks like. I'm going to put a bunch. I'm going to go out of town this weekend. I'm going to put a bunch in my glass jar and take it with me. I will not travel without this. I will not. So it can help you with, the number one thing that everybody wants to hear about is the bloat that goes away. Everybody's super happy about the bloat. Amen, sister. Amen. I'm with you. Get rid of the bloat. That is fantastic. But how about if you've also been constipated and taking a lot of over-the-counter meds, or you have indigestion, or you don't have a gallbladder, you're sluggish, you're slow, you're bloated, you're moody, you're brain foggy, you're all these things. It's because your liver needs to function again. It's your filter. It's your toxin getting rid of. It's supposed to manage your glucose, but now it can't because it's all sludge, and you get the picture. So I take a scoop of this every single morning in cold water. Oh, hey, Pam, the trio, I'll send you information. And remember that one is out of stock, so you can get it from me. Don, what do you want info on specifically? Let me know. Just the trio or all of it? All these 3 pillars, I call the total body reset. But I take a scoop of this and I put it in cold water. I moved my glass again. Put it in cold water every morning and I use my frother. And I froth it up and I drink it like a wellness shot. Tastes like tea. It's turmeric-y, gingery tea. It's fine. I'm not a tea person, so I don't sip on it. I just want to get it into my system. Okay. Liver health. Very, very beneficial. I always add in the probiotic because our guts are just really kind of messed up. Our microbiomes aren't what they need to be. And so having a very good probiotic, this is 5 strains and they are alive. And it has stick to the gut technology and stay alive technology. They didn't put it in here for a reason. These are tender. Okay. So pre and post is in here with digestive enzymes and fermented greens and alkaline spices and blah, 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 blah. This is a comprehensive thingamajig, right? Comprehensive product. But then the last, all of it, Sharon. Okay, I can do that. The last pillar is the orange pixie stick. It's the orange pixie stick. Now, I know that this sounds really weird and it kind of sounds too good to be true. And I don't blame you for feeling that way. This was created for the sports nutrition line and it targets visceral belly fat. So what happens is your body composition changes. You can lose those inches, but it's happening from the inside out. And if we all began to think about our internal body more than we thought about like our back fat, which don't get me wrong, I want my back fat to go away too. But that's not the dangerous fat. The fat on the inside of your knees, maybe it's unsightly to you, probably not to anybody else, but that's not the dangerous fat, okay? The fat right here, like on our arms that we don't like, maybe it's just me. It's just unsightly, but that's not dangerous. Inside, underneath your abdomen, underneath your belly, that's not good because it's wrapped around your organs. This fat is not wrapped around an organ, okay? The fat on the inside of my knees, there are no organs down there. Got it? So it's the fat that wraps around your organs that is very dangerous. And so that's what this addresses. So I always tell people, okay, yep, the Pro, you put it on your tongue every day, it tastes literally like orange candy. It's amazing. Take it every single day for 90 days. 1 box is 30 days. The Con, take 30 days off. I don't like it when I'm on my 30-day off. Neither does my husband. How does coffee affect using the trio and pixie sticks? It doesn't. It doesn't. Do you mean taking them with at the same time or just in general? It does not. The only thing coffee would affect if you're talking about taking it at the same time, do not take your probiotic with anything hot. Don't take, these are alive. You can heat the gut primer. You can heat this and drink it. Sip it like a tea if you want to. No problem. Somebody said they were going to put it in a soup. No problem. Not your probiotics. I don't know if that was your question, the way that you were phrasing that, but otherwise coffee is whatever. It's fine. Yeah, that's fine. So anyway, so that's the 3rd pillar. So I'm just going to recap and then you guys can tell me if you want information on everything. I call it the total body reset. If you only want information on one of the pillars, you can tell me that. Okay. The trio are the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. This is where I started 10 years ago, little over 10 years ago. And I lost 3 sizes as I was switching out my foods because this one that's out of stock and you can get it from me. It's the glucose product and it's a little like natural OZ. Wink, wink, right? So it really does help with sugar cravings, appetite control, but it's also bringing down that sugar. It's bringing down the insulin. You want both, okay? Second pillar number 2 is the gut primer with the probiotic. all of the bloating and the constipation and like loving your liver, love your liver, getting everything, the bile flow to go, getting your toxins removed, revving up that engine again so that you can actually burn fat, so that you can actually regulate the glucose like you're supposed to, so you can dump the excess cortisol. Like your liver is a workhorse. It is a very important organ in your body. And then the third pillar is the orange pixie stick. So a lot of people do all three. Some people pick one at a time, and then you can layer. No big deal. However you want, that's the whole point. The whole point is you can have a conversation with me. We can customize, and then we can begin to layer whatever it is that you're looking to layer. Okay. So that's how that goes. The last thing that I'll say here before I jump off is do not forget that the customer, if you want to get paid to get healthy, if you want to get paid for your own wellness journey, let me tell you how you can do this, because nobody else is doing it. You can't use your HSA card. You can't bill your insurance for supplementation. You can't do anything like that, right? That is true, 100%. But what you can do is the customer campaign says register with your name as a customer, register with your cell phone as a customer. And then when you purchase, I think, what did I send you yesterday, Elizabeth? I'm not sure, but I'm going to send you, I'll send you the total body. I just screenshotted you. But when you purchase 150 or more for 3 months in a row, you get $75 off that third month, and you can do that again. Okay. So I just want you to know that in a world where we do not prioritize health and wellness and actually getting our bodies to function, we do not prioritize teaching, eating through the lens of insulin resistance or whatever. We don't do a lot of that. I want you to know that in my world, this is what we do. You actually get rewarded for choosing to prioritize getting your body to function at a higher level so you can begin to turn things around. I have a Facebook group. It's called Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. The challenge is every month. We're on our 26th one. 26. You guys, we're not messing around. There is an actual track for you. There is an actual blueprint. You just have to step on the moving escalator. Step on. Like, come on. Get your little luggage. Step on the moving escalator. It's a free challenge. You take in the challenge. The next one starts next Monday, July 7th. I'll go live in there every single day, Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we're going to do ingredient trade outs from an Italian girl, right? Pantry, refrigerator, recipe, all of the things. And you take 1 or 2 nuggets. This is your success principle for today. You don't have to learn everything all at once. You don't have to be cold turkey Monday morning girl. That's not the goal. The goal is that you take 1 or 2 nuggets away from next week's challenge, and then you implement them. Implement. And then in August, I'll see you again. And you take 1 or 2 nuggets, and then you implement. And you give yourself permission for your own mission, your own journey to take back your health and become your own advocate, and stop listening to the trash advice of a diabetic nutritionist who will tell you you can have 45 grams of carbs at a meal. No, you can't. Okay, I guess you can, but it's not going to get you off your meds. In my opinion, it's not going to turn back, heal, reverse anything, in my opinion. So the trash advice, we have to say no, and then we have to take steps, okay? So I'll be back here tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. This week, I am gone on Thursday and Friday because I'm traveling from Minnesota to the Black Hills of South Dakota, where we lived in the 90s. I had 2 of my 3 children out there, and we're going to go visit we're actually taking my mother-in-law down there for something that's going on down there. And so I will be gone on Thursday and Friday, but I'll be back on Monday. So in general, what this looks like for you guys is 11 a.m. Central Standard Time every day, right here, Monday through Friday. This is what we do. And then once a month, we do the challenge. That starts next week. And when I do a challenge, it's at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. So next week, you're going to get me twice every day. Twice. I don't know. Might not be able to handle that. I don't know. But that's where you can learn the food piece of your puzzle. Okay. And if you just want to get jump started with the free guide, just go to my site, myfirstlastname.com, and grab that guide and start to really focus on protein and what does that look like for you to stabilize your blood sugars and move forward and to help your liver. So, all right, have the best day ever on the face of the planet. And I'm going to go answer people and get you guys information and have such a good day, you guys. Enjoy your summer. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.